Picture this. A god who once tried to level a frost giant city out of pure rage is now on his knees, asking for the strength to protect one small, ordinary life. That image, Thor as a father, asking to be something other than a warrior for once, represents where the character stands heading into the next phase of the MCU. But to understand how we got from "I'm gonna need a horse" to that moment, we have to go back 18 years to a banished prince who couldn't lift his own hammer. This is the full Thor timeline. Every reset, every death, every version of the character, and exactly where he stands as the Marvel Universe heads toward its next major crossover. Thor's story doesn't start as a hero's journey. It starts as a demotion. When we first meet him, he's arrogant, reckless, and about to restart a war with Jotunheim out of wounded pride. His father, Odin, doesn't ground him. He strips him of his power completely and drops him on Earth with no memory of why. The hammer, Mjolnir, gets left behind with a single condition burned into it. Only someone worthy can lift it. That's the entire engine of Thor's first film. Not, will he save the world? Will he become someone who deserves to? He earns it back the hard way, by choosing to die for people who can't do anything for him in return. The moment he's willing to sacrifice himself with no expectation of survival is the moment the hammer comes back to him. That's not an action beat. That's the character's entire value system, stated once, up front, and it's the thing every later version of Thor keeps getting tested against. By the end of his first film, the throne of Asgard is waiting for him. He turns it down. That refusal matters more than it looks like it does at the time. It's the first sign that Thor's real arc isn't become king. It's figure out what kind of man he wants to be when nobody's forcing the choice. Thor's second solo film strips away the fun. His mother is killed. Asgard is invaded. And for the first time, he's forced to team up with the person he trusts least in the universe to survive, his adopted brother, Loki. This is where the series' most important relationship gets its real foundation. Thor and Loki spend the entire film lying to each other, saving each other, and betraying each other, sometimes in the same scene. By the end, Thor turns the throne down a second time. He'd rather be with the people he loves on Earth than rule an empire alone. The Thor most people love today didn't exist until his third film tore down everything that came before it. In the space of one story, Asgard is destroyed, his father dies, his sister is revealed and defeated, and Thor loses an eye. He walks away with nothing but a ship full of refugees and a role he never wanted, king of a people with no kingdom. This is the film that also puts him side by side with the Hulk for an extended stretch. And it's worth noting because it's the first time Thor's arc gets defined less by his own mythology and more by how he functions inside a team. That shift matters, because from here on, almost every version of Thor we see is a team version. By the time of the Infinity Saga's climax, Thor has lost his brother, his best friend, half of all life in the universe, and, briefly, his sense of who he is. The version of him we see afterward isn't heroic. It's a man who believes he failed the one time it mattered most, and who stops trying to be a leader at all. He hands his kingdom to Valkyrie. He hands his weapon to a version of himself from the past. He leaves Earth entirely. This is Thor's lowest point, and it's important for the Doomsday conversation because it's the exact opposite of where the character is heading now. From a man who walked away from responsibility to a man asking to be given the strength to protect someone. The most recent chapter of Thor's story reframes him again, this time around love and loss on a much smaller, more personal scale than save the universe. He loses someone he loves. He gains a child, love, adopted in her. Memory. And the trajectory of his character from here suggests a warrior who's fighting for something fundamentally different than he ever has before. Not glory, not a throne, but the chance to be a father who comes home. Here's what we know about where Thor's character is positioned as the MCU moves into its next major phase. Thor is one of the last original Avengers still actively operating in present-day MCU continuity. He's confirmed to appear in upcoming team-up films, and based on where his solo story left off, as a father figure to love, his motivations heading into the next crossover are fundamentally different from any version of the character we've seen before. He's no longer the prince trying to prove himself worthy, or the king trying to save his kingdom. He's a protector fighting to make it back to someone who needs him. That repositioning matters because it makes Thor the emotional bridge between the team that saved the universe in Endgame and whatever new roster assembles for the next threat. He's one of the only characters left who remembers what it cost the first time. Here's the read worth sitting with. Thor is functionally the last active member of the original 6 Avengers who's still operating at full capacity. Tony Stark is gone. Steve Rogers handed off the shield. Natasha is gone. Bruce Banner's status is uncertain. Clint Barton has retired. That makes Thor the continuity anchor, the one character who can speak to both what the original team stood for and what the cost of that fight actually was. He's not the strongest character in the MCU anymore. He's not the smartest. But he might be the only one who remembers the weight of it all, which makes his choice to keep fighting. This time for his daughter, not for a throne. The most grounded version of Thor we've ever gotten. And if the speculation about multiversal threats is accurate, Thor might be one of the few heroes who's already experienced losing everything and had to rebuild from scratch. That's not a small thing when you're assembling a team to face a threat that could reshape reality itself. Thor's whole story is about earning the right to protect people instead of just being powerful enough to. 18 years later, he's finally fighting for the smallest, most personal reason yet. But his story only makes sense next to one other person's. The brother who lied to him, died for him, and eventually rewrote the rules of reality itself. Next up, the full Loki timeline, and how his ending secretly set up everything that's coming next.